very good point. What marketing skills did you learn that you regularly use then?
When you sort of you're thrown into the work environment full time and you've done your qualifications, it's interesting to see how certain things stay with you and other things don't. Initially, I think in terms of how I work, I'm very structured. You know, in terms of adopting any approach to any marketing activity. First of all, I always start with a customer. Then I have a whole sort of structure in which I put things into. It's sort of a questioning regime. I think in terms of some of the more strategic tools that I've learned, there's favourites and there's ones that are most useful. And for me, I mean, I know people joke about it, but you know, things like the basic tools like the SWOTs, the ANZOFs,
yeah.
But also the Porter's generic forces. And I think in terms of what I do now, you know, the whole ethos about Porter's three, you know, the generic forces and the movement towards niche marketing is very relevant to a lot of sort of new emerging businesses, which is actually quite exciting. Yeah. So that's one of the things that I see materialising in real life. And I do always bang the drum for Maslow. I know it's a little bit out of date, but the hierarchy of needs can be applied not only within the organisational framework, but even in terms of understanding the customer, the way the customers are on customer journeys, which are a key part of the planning component for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so back to chartered status. Did having chartered status help you when you set up on your own? And does it help you now, do you think?
That's an interesting question, because my immediate short answer would be no, but I mean that in a positive sense.
Okay.
Because, well, let me explain. When you set up on your own and your own business, for you to be competitive, you have to be ahead of the game. Mm-hmm. You need to be investing in your skill set. You need to have cutting-edge knowledge. So by definition, you do that anyway. Mm. So I think that for me, the whole fabric of Chartered Marketer is useful because it helps equip me. I've factored that in as part of my sort of modus operandi in terms of how I work. So it's very much a benchmark to say that I'm in business, I'm doing this, but I need to constantly keep my skills up to date. And as I'm a business owner now, I'm not just a marketer, but I have to get involved in finance and legal. This just ensures that I'm keeping all my marketing skills topped up. So that's where it's really very useful, because it is an indicator, it's a quality performance indicator. And that's something I can take to the market and share with other people, or if I'm looking for suppliers or collaborators in projects, which I do now, it's something which I can actually mention as part of the discussion. Right. So it has a value, but it's slightly different to if you're working within a corporate environment. And I think it's maybe useful to make the point here that it's very easy within a large corporate environment to be engaged in the business, and you become reliant on the training and the programs within your employer, and you've got your nose to the grindstone, you're trying to do what you're trying to do. Yeah. And your own personal development and investing in that comes sort of a little way down your list of priorities. What that does in the corporate world is it drives it to the top, and it encourages you to take ownership of your own personal skill development and your skill set, which is a great value. When you become self-employed or you start your own business, that has to be at the top, because if you don't have it, you're not going to be a business.
So emphasis on the continuous professional development.
Absolutely, and it's totally complementary in terms of your working activity anyway.
Yeah. So clearly being a successful marketing consultant has been a positive step in your career. Are there any drawbacks to being self-employed?
Well, the initial drawback is that you're very reliant on yourself, and you don't have the big corporate furniture and infrastructure around you. So that's always a challenge. However, the upside is that you're in a position where you can design your own world, and you can build it in the way that you choose. So from a brand point of view, it can have your sets of values, it can have your view on the world, it can have your set of ethics and your way of doing things, and that's actually quite fulfilling. I mean, I've found, having gone through the corporate world, I'm at that point in life where I want, referring to Maslow, the self-actualisation, top of the pyramid, where I'm actually thinking, right, I want to create something for myself now that I own, but has my stamp on it. So I think that, again, this is where setting up on your own is very rewarding. But then that's the big leap of faith that you take.
Yes, well, it's freedom, but it comes with a price tag.
With freedom comes responsibility.
It does, yeah. Okay, so a whole new blank sheet of paper. Is there anything you'd do differently in your marketing career if you started it all over again?
Yes.
Oh, okay, short answer.
The longer answer, yeah, there is. I think I mean, this is something I've learned, and I'm sure this is something that maybe anyone in a career in marketing would advise, is I don't think I actively networked enough. I think I would have done that more, and I think now the culture is such that people understand the value of it, because when you go into a role and you've got your head down and you're trying to do a good job, you just rely on being professional and doing a great job. It's so important to build relationships, not only across your organisation, which you do anyway, but it's outside of your organisation and it's across your industry and sector, and invest a lot of time in that, especially in terms of sourcing the new next role. I was always very dependent on maybe going to advertised jobs or going to recruitment consultants, and I think a lot of people now are finding that the best new roles are ones that aren't advertised, and it's about the people that you know and the people you meet through your network. So I think that not only going to CIM and other marketing industry events, but also sort of using things like LinkedIn or other networking groups and just putting yourself out there and meeting people, because there is very much this culture now. It's a new world where people are sharing knowledge, sharing content, and you're getting people who speak to each other from across different organisations on marketing problems that they never would 10, 15 years ago. So that's a fundamental difference. So that's one thing I would do.
Very good tip, and I've seen it work in the real life as well. We had a speaker come, and at the end of his presentation said, "Oh, and by the way, I'm looking for a new marketing manager." 2 of our members went right up to him after the event, handed their cards in, and one of them actually got the job. So you just never know where the opportunities are. It's worth going to these things. So what next for your career, Mark?
The next step for me, I've sort of taken that step as I set up my own company a little while ago, and although I still do provide consultancy, it's about trying to build my own products and brands and business going forward.
Okay.
So it's about calling on all that experience that I've got in these different sectors and then building brands from scratch that are going to compete within the UK and the global marketplace. So I'm particularly interested in clothing sector, sport, music, health, all these different areas, and they're all very much interrelated. And I position my business so I can actually start working on a number of different projects that leverage off each other. So it's about helping, taking all that good knowledge and applying it to my own aspirations and my own projects. So I've done it for everyone else for the past 20 years, so I thought I might as well have a go on my own.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Well, I wish you all the best with that, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Diane.